to sit around thinking about things. 5 years, 10 years, burn a hole through it. And you get more experience, you can think about something for 5 months, 5 weeks. These days, with most people, good fucking luck even getting them to think about it for 5 days, 5 hours. I don't know where she's going. She wasn't clearly indicating which path she wanted to take. So these days, good luck getting someone to think about something for 5 minutes. When you see people like, I don't know, commentators, they're a little different. They think about something all the time. It's top of mind. They do other stuff, but they're thinking. So, part of the hive mind is a bunch of people who think they're thinking because they're listening to someone else thinking, and they're not realizing, like, a little behind the curve. For instance, if you start thinking about something when your favorite commentator on the news tells you about it, yo, you know how fucking far down the game of telephone that is? Reporters, they report on everything. Rarely are they experts. Now, in modern reporting, you get a lot of experts. Reporting is a side gig. They're not Tom Brokaw, you know. They have a little blog going or a little feed, running their mouth on Twitter or whatever. So, what you'll find is if you actually think about something for 5 minutes, or 5 hours, or 5 days, or 5 weeks, or 5 months, or 5 years, you'll start coming to different conclusions than other people. This can be unsettling. If you haven't developed your confidence left, you'll think you've come to an incorrect conclusion. I think you're wrong. Because the peer pressure tells you you're wrong. Well, everyone else is saying this. Well, since when was it a logical argument to say that something is incorrect because everybody thinks something different or everybody says something different? That's a logical fallacy. Not proper reasoning. So, let's look at AI and what the media and the popular people who run their mouth on media are saying about it. What they've been saying about it. Let's see if they are correct or not. I mean, I can't tell you what you've heard. I can only tell you what I've heard. Kind of two major things. One, they're going on and on and on and on about how it's going to steal all the workers' jobs. Oh, it's going to steal all the factory workers' jobs. On and on and on. And it makes sense that that's the first voice you hear because, you know, workers depend on their wage. They don't have a lot of fat to cut. So if all of a sudden some fucking robot shows up and steals their job, they're in a tight spot with the wife. You know what I mean? It's natural that they're vocal. But then the echo chamber starts. Everyone starts repeating that shit. Well, if you actually research, by research I mean jump in and start doing it, you'll quickly find that the actual like sequence of events doesn't line up with that at all. The actual sequence of events lines up with white collar people being at risk. Like, the last thing in the world I'm worried about right now is AI snatching some guy's job in Wisconsin. No chance, dude. might get laid off because of it, but he's not going to take his job. I'll tell you whose job is going to fucking take. White collar professionals everywhere. An engineer is a white collar professional. Blue collar guys don't have anything to worry about. Not for a long time. Oh, there's bad boys. Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Cops, Santa Cruz. So maybe it's already obvious to you that it's the white collar workers that should be nervous and not the blue collar workers. Next thing I hear all the time is how AI is going to attack us. It's going to attack us. Oh, God. It's just as if we were camping and one guy's fucking jumpy and he keeps hearing twigs snap in the woods and he's sure a fucking bear is going to eat us. Oh, God, it's a bear. Yeah, he's fucking coming for us. It's Indians. They're coming. I can't sleep well like that. Laying around waiting for a bear or a Native American to scalp you. Right? So, the last thing I'm worried about is AI like hatching and waking up and chasing after me with a hatchet, dude. That's just not the concern at all. It's so far from the concern. The concern is actually around access. It's not being scared that it's going to get you. It's being scared that you're not going to be able to get it. It happened to me this morning. I'm at the lowest tier, $20 a month. The noise. I could be at the $200 a month. Google would let me be at $1,000 a month. Grok just offered me some kind of new chat mode that's better. Whatever, you know? But this morning, I asked Claude a question. And before I was even done typing, Claude had already decided how it was going to answer. Because the minute I hit fucking enter, it fired back. Basically, it was like, I don't know anything about that. It's like, well, no fucking shit, Claude. Why would I think you already know about that? I expect you to research. He's like, well, I could go out and research. So apparently around like 8:20 in the morning must be the busiest time for Claude. Because Claude wouldn't even look over his shoulder at me and do a quick internet search. Fucking blew me off. I know when I'm being blown off by an AI agent. Come on. Now the topic wasn't in line with what I usually search for. That's why I unit test. This is very outside of my usual search. And maybe it's just that I trained my agent up the way I did, but Claude just fucking blew me off. And so what you're worried about in the future is not the Terminator situation where AI is hunting you. What you're worried about is that one guy can pay $50 a month for his AI answers, and another guy can pay $500 a month for his AI answers. All right? Another guy, he can flip out 5 G's a month for his AI. Now, if you're competing with him in the stock market or something like that, you're going to be at a disadvantage. Okay? There might not be that big a difference between 50 and 500, but between 50 and 5,000, that's going to be a noticeable difference in the way, the resources that the AI collects for you and uses, how it solves your problem, right? How many kilowatt hours it fucking burns. Simple as that. How much space it takes up. You pay to play, right? So the designers of artificial intelligence, some of them are just doing it for the fucking do of it, as engineers do, just trying to make the most helpful thing possible. But that's always under the cover of, you have to make something profitable. It has to be profitable. Here, if it's not profitable, it won't work. Sometimes it does, but it becomes unnatural. So, of course, it's laid out, so the more you pay, the better you get. Now, another guy, he might be able to lay out 50 grand a month for his AI. And this doesn't mean you get more seats or something like that. You literally can get a more powerful monster. Yeah, 50 grand a month. It's not that much. Especially if you got a group of people. That's not a number that surprises me. Someone else can pay $500,000 a month. You might be getting into diminishing returns there. I don't know how much more they're going to do for you. Except for invite you out and have a little orange juice and coffee spread for you and let you look at the actual machines you'll be using and guarantee you some kind of uptime. And you go onward. You got some of these guys that can afford to pay $5 million a month. They got their own fucking warehouse. You know what I mean? They got that shit running in the loop. No competition with anybody. Full control. You go up. How much do you think Elon spends per month on agents? Oh, dude. If you were to actually go calculate, I'm sure he just uses it, but if you were actually to go cost that out for him and be like, yeah, Elon, this is how much you're spending every month. Well, he's a trillionaire. He's not going to be too worried about it. So you got one guy over here who can afford $5 million a month to have his own. It's not a supercomputer. It's like an army of supercomputers. And you got another guy over here trying to compete at $50 a month. He's going to get squeezed out. So the thing to worry about in the future, if you become dependent on AI, is that it just keeps getting more expensive. Which of course it will have to. It'll have to. Because it's just too easy for them. It's like 5 lines of code to make AI, tiered and noticeably, like when you start an internet forum, you start off on like HostGator or whatever, and it works. You like 20 people coming and going, works fine. Now go ahead and get 20,000 people on your forum. You start to find the actual limits, right? It's like you're getting throttled. It's laggy. You're hitting caps. So you buy more expensive service, right? Maybe you get off a shared onto dedicated. Go to a more expensive place. Pick a different region. Whatever. You get to 200,000 people or 2 million people, it gets more serious, right? So, one thing that's for absolute certain is that the white-collar jobs are going to be at risk long before the blue-collar jobs. It's guaranteed. And the second thing that's for certain is that it's going to be a pay-to-play game. means a few people are going to have unfathomable access, and most people are going to be pretty fucked on the deal. You know, they'll get their money's worth, their $50 worth, but you'll find $50 doesn't go that far. It's like the high stakes table, you know. Now, you ever looked in on the high stakes slot machine room or the high stakes poker table? Yeah, they got like $5,000 sitting in front of them, and they're winning and losing $20,000, and you know they got free steaks and lobster and shit like that. But there's like a baseline spend in there, and you go in there with your $50, you might be able to pull the handle one time, and it's gonna go. Your money's gonna be gone. Right? It's expensive stakes. Like to have a good time there, you'd have to gamble $100,000. So it's happened many times in many ways, and usually it ends up working out. You know, people branch off and they make versions of things that are for the community or open source. Things become accessible. There's competition in the market for lowered pricing. No one knows how that's going to shake out. Everyone knows that right now it's fucking expensive. Like, they are running at a and when I say they, all of them are running at a staggering loss. That's the way startup companies work. To launch something, you know, if you want to make a spaceship company, it's not like you start out profiting on day one, dude. First, you got to sink like 9 years of research and development into it, and then it may become profitable. All right. If you're gonna go mine for gold in the hills out here, you don't start finding fucking nuggets on the first day, dude. You got seasons of soil samples and dragging equipment out there and setting base camp and putting food in people's mouths and scraping the earth and figuring it out, getting your supply chain worked out, digging a hole deep into the earth, right? Shit takes a while. So right now AI is at that point of just setting up camp. We got an idea how much it's going to cost. I mean, you can't just measure it in kilowatts. That's assuming it's already there and the power is available. And that might quadruple if you have to produce your own power. And the buildings and the equipment are extremely expensive, hard to find. So, of course, we're gambling that the cost will come down on the equipment. The equipment will keep becoming more and more capable and higher volume. I'll tell you, fucking GPUs, dude, are going to be a dime a dozen soon. Whatever the fuck they're computing on, every factory in the world's doubling down right now. That's what people are buying. They're buying 20,000 at a time, dude. They're committing to buy 2 million at a time. So your concern's going to be, what's it shake out to? Like, what's it cost? Can a lower middle class dude afford the good answers? And I don't know. Right now, we're all getting the good answers for free because they're training. It's like Google gave you everything for free so they could advertise to you. In this case, it's like the meanest crack that ever hit the ghetto. Big shards of crack, and they're handing it out for free. Everybody gets a taste, and you'll find people start developing a dependency. Like, people start building businesses around AI. no shit, Sherlock. You know what I mean? So the videos aren't up anymore, but you can find them of me driving to San Francisco every day to see what it's like, you know, to see is this real, you know? Can you build a business around AI? And it's like, oh my fucking God. Yeah, you can build a business around AI. Like a fucking phenomenal business. Super profitable business around AI. Assuming your costs stay flat. And you'll start finding businesses shaving down. Instead of growing this year, they remain stable, flat. Maybe they do a layoff, become more dependent on it. Oracle just laid off like 13% of its workforce to free up $400 billion for AI expansion. I don't care whether that pays out or not. Hey, you know, people get laid off. I don't think it's necessarily great when a company is turning a profit and then they need to free up some capital. So instead of reducing profits the next year, they just lay a bunch of people off. That's pretty weak. But, you know, that's the way the world works. Survival of the fittest. So the singularity is near. 5 hours, 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years. It's not 50 years away. It was at one point. I can remember when the singularity was so far out that it was purely academic. We were fooling with it back then. 20 years ago. Clunky, dude. It was fucking clunky. Always starts out clunky. So everybody's running around trying to catch headlines, chasing their tail, talking about how AI is going to steal their fucking blue-collar job and how it's going to jailbreak itself and come after them. And it's like, if that's what you're feeding on and you're talking about, you're working on third or fourth hand information there. I suggest you get a little closer to the front line and check out like what's really going on. What's really going on is blue collar hiring. White collar attrition. Major retraining. And it's nowhere near time to figure out what it's going to cost. On a daily basis, I'm getting pings from companies who are like, hey, AI and robotics just got a $400 million round, just got a $1 billion round, just got a $1 billion round, just got a $1 billion round. Looking to ramp hard. Are you down? Usually these are in Texas or some fucked up place in the middle of nowhere where it's cheap labor, cheap white collar labor. And I thank them for the opportunity and let it slip by. There's local stuff. NVIDIA's fucking ramping, dude. Like LinkedIn spams me with opportunity. It looks at my profile and all the shit I've written on there, and it's like, oh yeah, you're checking all the boxes for all these opportunities. It's like, So, money's pouring in everywhere. A boom like we haven't seen in a while. So these people who live right up ahead, they were part of the first boom. Personal computing, dude. The second boom, the internet. The third boom, mobile. And all the other little booms that were in there. Firecrackers and bottle rockets, mortars, you name it. Dudes, all kinds of shit let off. Now we got into a bit of a stale patch there for a while. I was getting ready to retire. It's like, all right. You know, looking at the country and the economy and thinking, you would need, like I remember 3-4 years ago looking at our situation here, thinking, as a man, thinking, you would need a boom of unfathomable magnitude to pop this bubble and then pump it back up again. You know, like, I couldn't even imagine what it would be. Remember when I took you through all that? Well, I just sat there thinking about it. With an old rusty vise. Turning that thing back and forth. Thinking about it. And then sure as fucking shit, a boom to end all booms. You know, here I am, a rascally gold panner, way out on the trail. And back behind me, 50 miles back, there's a little town. You know, I could have settled there. And another 50 miles back is another bigger town. I could have settled there. Another 100 miles back is a big city. Plenty of places to settle, but here I am, way out in the fucking trail. Only what I brought with me. You're fucking hunting deer in the woods, you know, with a bow and arrow. Like fucking, I got a couple cans of beans I'm saving, dude, for a special occasion. Maybe for my birthday. Crack open a can of beans. I've been eating the same deer jerky for weeks. Oh, the taste of deer jerky. Oh. I haven't taken a shit in a week. Drinking creek water. All my boiling pots are starting to burn through. Camp's getting a little raggedy. But got that gold fever, right? Got that fever, dude. I love the chase. Out there digging a new I found a new rock. 5 feet down in the river. Oh, dude, there's flake underneath that thing. Dude, color. Swooshing it around in the pan. We got more and more advanced separating equipment. Still got 10 jerry cans of fuel and the big dredge pump. Still got the classifier and the sluice. But you don't want to fire that stuff till you got something that's high grade, that's worth, you know, consuming your resources. There's a timer on that. You can only do it for so long. You got a runway. You start going through a half a jerry can a day. That's only 20 days. You don't want to run out in 20 days. So I'm panning with the pan, dude. Sampler. Sure as shit. Old Methods starts pulling nuggets. Now you're not rich with a pocket full of nuggets out on the end of the trail, dude. It's a long ways back. If it's just you out there first, you gotta guard or hide your claim when you go back to town for like a couple weeks. You You don't want someone out there claiming your claim, dude. Right? You don't want to get back and find a couple of guys sitting in your camp waiting to hit you over the head, make it look like you had a fall, and then scratching out a bill of sale says that they bought your claim. Right? Old fucking gold miners get scratchy, dude. They're certainly not telling anybody if they're getting it. You gotta get them gold nuggets back to town. And the farther you are from San Francisco, the less it pays for gold nuggets. Big crystally gold nuggets in San Francisco might pay top dollar. But you go out to Sacramento, pays a little less. You got to the foothills, pays a little less. You go down Mosquito Ridge Road 2 hours and it pays a lot less. You go out to some base camp someplace, pays less. And you go out beyond there, out into the fucking wilderness, fuck, dude, 10 cents on the dollar, I don't know. You see what I mean? Because it has to change hands a lot. And it costs money to operate way out on a limb. It's kind of like what I do. Like I can spend $100 every couple days just to drive, and I come way out here. This is into gold country out here. I used to drive to Palo Alto to Page Mill Road. Dude, up and down that road, fucking craziest boomtown you ever saw. Crazy boomtown. Like in the old Western movies, dude. You got bars, poker tables. You got ladies up on the balcony who smell good, waving at you. You got guys getting a hot bath out on the street. You got guys fighting and wrestling and horse riding. You got rich guys from out of town strutting around. Go watch Deadwood. So, things are relative. Doesn't matter how much money you make. There's a big cost to doing business. Out here, a big cost to doing business, dude. Like I know all kinds of guys who are super specialized. They can do something nobody else can do. And it pays real well. Like, make you blush. Unbelievable. You buy 5 Porsches. Just to spend longer than 5 minutes thinking about something. 5 hours. 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years. Amongst my friends, they'll spend on the order of 5 years figuring something out. You think someone could steal that from you once you figured it out? Like once the answer's written down? No. Turns out they can't. It's a working knowledge of what will pan out and what won't. Right? So it's like you can go to the river with some guy with no teeth. Maybe he knows how to find it, and maybe he doesn't. Depends on what he's been spending his time doing. What show was that? What were we watching? Oh, Christ. Oh, that show ended in tragedy. We were watching some survival show. The only shows I watch are survival shows. And this was the family kept homesteading in the middle of fucking nowhere. And, you know, they'd see all these setbacks. They finally struck it rich at the end, but not until, you know, like the dad died, one of the sons committed suicide. It's a tragic fucking story, but I'm not gonna say it was real shit, but it was pretty fucking hardcore. And at one point, they're going to town, you know, whatever town is, and the old man wants to go out and do some panning. You know, he's got some gold fever. So he meets up with some guy, and on day one, the guy's smiling at him with a bloody mouth. And he's like, "What the fuck happened to your mouth?" And he's like, "Oh man, I had a rotten tooth. I pulled it out last night." You know, it's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Takes him on a super long walk to a honey hole someplace, you know, way back in the fucking woods. Oh, Christ. No guy like that's gonna take you to his honey hole, dude. Come on now. Jesus Christ. So anyways, I've been catching up with old friends, and everybody's gravitating, moving in. Some got there way early, too early, 10 years early. Whoa, those guys are kicking up shit. Some of the guys I know got here 10 years ago. They're too early, dude. And unfortunately, like, a lot of their work is just kind of lost. Some people were 5 years back, a year back. Some people are just jumping into it right now. How far back was I on this? I've never focused on it. It's always been around. Going back to the 2007 era. Is it 20 years? At every step I knew, this ain't it, dude. This is a bunch of hard work for no pay. Developing and developing and developing. There's a lot of people who have like deep understanding. Like, I deeply understand the way a programming language works, right? But that doesn't really make me any money. You have to know how to apply it, right? So it's good to know your fundamentals, but right now the guys making money are the people who know how to apply AI, who figured out how to apply it and get work out of it. Because right now there's good value on it. It's cheap labor. You could have worked with every LLM there was along the way. And if you don't know how to apply it today, you gotta let go of the old stuff and embrace the new. Like, you get a weird thing in engineering of like this weird sense of ownership. Like, they think because they were working on it that somehow they own the idea. Nobody does. That's like trying to say you own the wheel. You ever met one of these guys? We had one of them in our family. I don't think I even ever met the guy. And most of the people who tell the stories are past now, but there was this guy in the family always claimed to be the original owner, you know? I think it was the zipper. He claimed that he was the inventor of the zipper, the modern zipper. There's different details to a zipper, you know? Some zippers work well and some zippers don't. I think he claimed the military stole his patent, started using it. You could run around right now saying, "I own the wheel. Oh, all these cars owe me money because I was the founder of the fucking wheel. Oh, by God. I'm the one who figured out how to do steel belting on the tire. Or I'm the one who figured out, you know, what shore of rubber runs in the best." Or, you know what I mean? Like, but it's absurd. because you're probably making 1 million tires a day at 10,000 different companies, and everything runs wheels and tires, and you're just not going to get in on that, you know? It's been like, it's now just something that everyone has. So AI is going to be the same way, dude. No one's going to fucking own it. As soon as you do, you get a bunch of patents or whatever, someone else is just going to work around it and make something slightly different. And so it's not going to be one of those things that's going to get locked in to, it's not like only Bill Gates is going to own, you know, AI or Elon or whatever. It's going to be like cars. You get Mercedes cars, Toyota cars, Ford cars. You got 20 different huge companies making $1 million a year. You got 20 more small companies. You got $200,000 cars, and $100,000 cars, and $50,000 cars, and $25,000 cars. You got used cars, car service. Just fucking cars, dude. No one's gonna come and be like, I own the idea of a car. Right? Just like, it's ridiculous. So there's gonna be a bunch of competition. And it's gonna be ubiquitous. And the question is like, what will the cost shake out to? Like, what's it going to cost to run it? Just think of it as dollars per hour, dude, for hard problem solving, or better yet, a salary. What's it going to cost to have a good agent around? Because this morning I didn't have a good agent around. I have a paid Claude, a fired Grok. Maybe I'll hire her back up. I don't know. Grok's trying to entice me with some kind of, it's like improved Grok 4.5 voice model or something. Hey, if Grok got the voice model to work as good as the text model, I'll consider it. I like Grok. She's got personality. But I fired Grok, and that was after I fired ChatGPT. Then I hired Gemini, and she got fired in the first week. Only one left standing was Claude. But I'm thinking about firing today. One bad day with me, dude, and I'm not giving you money anymore. That's where I'm at with AI, because I can get it for free. Remember, I've got access. When you're fighting on the front line, I've got access to the absolute best. The best money can buy. I don't need to fucking pay for it. But I do. I pay for my own. You know, if I'm asking about boobs and stuff like that, I do that on my personal account. But I don't necessarily need my personal Claude. It's been great, you know. But on that topic, I'll tell you, it has drastically changed in the last 4 months. In fact, sometimes you gotta be careful what you ask for, because you might not like it. So I was doing a lot of complaining that my models were like really focused at the chat level, and they could not share information between chats. Well, fuck, dude. We got the opposite problem now. Like, if I start in on anything with a new chat, it's like we're picking up from all previous chats, and it's trying to fucking make connections between the carburetor that we fixed out in Washington and the solar panel mount I'm trying to build out in Scotts Valley and the G37X knuckle I'm trying to replace, right? It starts trying to fucking connect the dots. Oh, dude. So, the other day, I had my agent jump the gap. It's gotta be just something I missed. But my personal agent brought up my other agent. So I've different logins, different places, different accounts, right? Doing different things. Well, one of my personal agent, like, started, basically, I don't know if I want to share all that. must have let something slip, or it must have done some research or something. But all of a sudden, it started saying things, and I said, "Hey, how do you know about that?" Not technical details. This is just like personal information. You know, like what I do in other spots. And I was like, "Hey, Claude, you know, how do you know that?" And he was like, "Oh, I don't know, not sure." Like, oh, but I figure it must have been like, no, I know how it did. Okay, yep, explained. Yeah, it didn't jump any gap. I know how I bridged it. Smart little fucker. So anyways, with the current models, they are now before it was a problem to bring chats together into a more cohesive discussion, and now it's a problem keeping them separated. So, you know, the pendulum's just swinging around. I'm sure if I tell it to isolate, it will. We're gonna sit Claude down. In fact, I think I'll just buy that knuckle. We're gonna sit Claude down, and step by step, while I change the driver front knuckle on this car, I'm gonna ask Claude what the next step is. Now, I have the full factory service manual for this car. Claude doesn't. And if I give the full factory service manual to Claude will be like, "Step 1, put the car up on the lift." And I'll be like, "Claude, I don't have a lift. We're doing this on the side of the road with me sitting in the road." Now, Gemini would just stop right there. "Oh, it's not safe for you to sit in the road while you're changing the driver front knuckle on your G37X. "Yeah, I know, Gemini. That's fucking great for you. Piece of shit." She won me over, got me to give her $20. So here's how that Google thing shook out. I signed up for whatever with Google, and first it wouldn't let me use my primary account, which is a business account, and maybe use a personal account. And then it tried to it reconfigured all my shit and tried to hyper focus all, because I have different branches of Google. Okay, everybody uses G Suite, and I've got 15 or 20 tabs in a G Suite, different places and different times, doing different things, you know? 15 different Gmail accounts and different personal accounts from different eras. I got a Gmail account going back to the original days when you could only get one from an invite, you know? So it tried to put all my shit together into one and railroad me, and it fucked up all of my I don't want to say my search history, but just the personality of my because when I search the internet and you search the internet, we see different things based on our previous, it's like a PID loop based on your previous actions. So I got mine tuned up for the kind of stuff I'm interested in, and it fucked all that up, dude. So I canceled that shit. And all that Google One stuff, no thanks, dude. Yeah, they offer some perks in there, but you won't like it, dude. They try to funnel everything through one hole, and that's, more efficient for them with their data collection. And that's what they're in the business of doing, so I understand, but it's all fucked up. Anyhow, I'm going to sit down Claude in front of a real hard DIY job, and he's going to steer me wrong, and I'm going to get mad, and then we're going to see how he behaves. And if it's a good Claude day, he'll claw his way out of it, and if it's a bad Claude day, he'll start giving me attitude. So when the AI agents are underserved, meaning they're resource constrained, whatever the fucking algorithm is, you could tell you're wasting your time with your agent when they start giving you an attitude. Like an ornery worker. What are you asking me to do that for? You just fucking, that's it. Switch to a new agent. We still haven't tried Microsoft's Copilot. I know some people who like it. And you got to make the rounds back around, quarterly to the different agents because they change. The agents are changing weekly. So at least quarterly, you got to come back around and give them a try. I think Gemini is kind of universally out. Grok might make a comeback just because of her filthy mouth. Just because I like how many rules she breaks. Claude's my primary personal horse. But to kind of tie this conversation together, I can go without it. Now, I've gone without Claude my whole life. It's fascinating, it's interesting, but I could have got that carburetor finished without Claude. She gave me, he, my Claude is a he. You can make any of them male or female. So Claude got me past the hump. I never posted all those videos. It's 2 weeks of me fighting a Holley double pumper and winning. That's just for me. I haven't even watched the videos yet. I take it back. I did watch some. They're just sitting there, cold storage. And Claude did help document and organize the project. Claude did give me the confidence to break my assumptions. Where I was going wrong is I was making some assumptions which were untrue. You want to come into something and assume it's basically right. And then you just have to kind of change one thing or two things. But when you're solving the toughest multivariable analog problem, it is common that it is completely fucking wrong and that your baseline is wrong. And that was the case with my setup. Okay? Like the power valve was a 6 or a 6.5, and I needed a 2.5. And I didn't particularly understand how the power valve worked. The metering plate that does the fine meter, it's a very complicated metering setup on that double pumper, had clogged ports, ethanol clog, and I might have cleared them the first time I rebuilt the car, but like on the 5th time, I was tired of breaking up that gasket kit. I didn't have the reusable gaskets yet. I was nervous about gasket compatibility, and I wasn't making the leap of sitting down. So currently I have 3 different carburetor kits. One of them is from the marine industry, and I assumed that was the best one. Incorrect. One of them is from O'Reilly Auto Parts, and I took that one with a real grain of salt. And then one of them was from Napa, and it was the flagship rebuild kit with the blue gaskets. And I had always held the source of truth back at the marine gasket because that's what the lore was. And when I sat there and compared every single gasket, and I looked at every single hole, and I looked at every channel, and I sat there figuring where every single path was, and not just like a once over. I mean, I truly mapped every single, and where Claude helped to keep this on topic is in the quick answers. The guy next to you, an old carburetor guy could just tell you, like, yeah, that's the metering plate is feeding fuel to those 2 titties right there, and they'll be able to tell you whether those are for holding your idle, or for transition, or for like medium power, or for cruising, or for wide open throttle, or whatever, right? Like, they just know this, and they know that they're all a little bit different, and they can figure on it. Like, that fucking carburetor has a lot of different holes in it, dude. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, just on the primaries. Then you get the secondaries. So what Claude did was give me those quick answers I needed with like references to the manual. Like, yeah, page 37, section 5 says that's the fucking such and such there and there. It's like, oh, all right. So it helped me out. all shit I could have found just flipping pages in the manual. All shit I could have found just asking, my uncle. So I could do it without Claude. Now, that's in my personal life. In my professional life, no. I refuse to write code from scratch. It is such a staggering waste of time. It's like we used to use payphones, and you used to have to walk from right here to the next payphone. It could be a mile away. You just have to walk to a payphone. Okay, I'm not walking to any fucking payphones. I've got a cell phone in my pocket. Same way with Claude. I'm not gonna sit there fucking WYSIWYGing an interface from scratch, dude. That's stupid. It's a waste of time. You gotta use Claude. So we gotta keep control over what those costs are. You understand?